Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and the Generates. I am Menzo, this is my forever ghost Jump. Today we wrap up our, patriotic slash movie set before the 20th century week with GomBurZa, the latest Filipino movie about Filipino heroes released last year and is directed by Pepe Diokno, who is the son of Chel Diokno. If you didn't know that, now you do. But yeah, did you get to see this before it was not here in our country? Because it was released during the Metro Manila Film Festival. So did you get to catch any of those entries?
Sadly, no. There was a lot of movies that in the Manila was this film festival that I really wanted to see, but around the time, I just didn't have the budget or the time
Hmm.
to like just stop by and just watch something. Yeah, it was out for like a whole month, and I feel a little bit ashamed that I wasn't able to like contribute. But hey, we watching it on Netflix, and they still get a little bit of revenue, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. But
I
yeah,
really hope so.
I
But yeah, it's out on Netflix, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, like I feel like we're kind of spoiling the ratings, but go ahead and watch it because it is a very important film.
yeah, and I feel like I remember during that month I was like, if I was gonna watch any movie, it would be this one. Not to say the others don't look interesting, but this one seemed most important. Like there are other movies, like I forgot the one about the serial killer, but like
Uh, it started with an M. I forgot what it was called.
right, um, and it's a pretty good movie. But like this was GomBurZa is very important for the times that we're in, and it's always good to remind ourselves of what to appreciate what we have now because a lot of people gave their lives for freedom, as so wonderfully stated by Heneral Luna in her previous video. But yeah, obviously the movie's about GomBurZa, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Zamora. All priests, people who are wrongly accused of the Cavite mutiny, and this movie shows the steps to how things were. And this is essentially the spark that lights the match that becomes the Philippine Revolution, essentially. Uh,
Yep.
I think a friend said this, which is funny because they noticed all the priests here were all black, and it's in the middle of the day, and they're like, I wonder what it's like to be in a time where you can wear all black and not die of heat stroke within 10 minutes.
Yeah, it is. Well, for sure, around the time when they filmed this, it wasn't that cold. But yeah, back in like what the 1900s, yeah, we had a lot of trees. We had a lot of like greenery. So and not a lot of buildings. So heat wasn't really a bother.
Yeah,
Like, come on, people were wearing three-piece suits out in the like open. They're at the market. They're wearing like a suit and tie. I'm like, God, just imagine like what was the temperature back then for
right.
them to just be able to wear that. You know, they got like a top hat. Man, I want that to come back, but at the sake, like at the state we're in, I'm good.
Right. Anyway, but yeah, this shows how it begins as a priest problem of like the Spanish priests aren't really respecting us, even though we're doing all the dirty work, or even though we're getting our hands dirty. Like that's the
Yeah.
push both Father Gomez and Father uh, Pedro Palacios, surprisingly played by Viola Pascual, because I didn't know he was in this movie, and I was
Uh,
like,
yeah, I was a bit surprised. I was like, is this our main character? Because all I remember seeing from the posters and stuff is that it's focused on Burgos.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, but when I saw Pedro Pascal, I was like, is he the main character? Because he's the one who like
Did
wrote
you just say
the.
Pedro Pascal?
Oh, sorry, Pedro Pascal. Actually. Shit. Piolo Pascal. Hey, that's an honest mistake. Fuck you.
Yeah. I just was
Like
like,
speak Spanish.
I was like, the Mandalorian was here. Jesus Christ, must truly be blind.
But anyway, so yeah, like, but he is the one who wrote the somewhat manifesto.
Yeah,
Would you call it a manifesto?
yeah,
Yeah. Correct us if we're wrong, but like, he is the one who wrote down, like, I forgot what it said. But anyway, it's like demanding for like a free
equal respect.
Philippines. yeah, equal
Equality.
respect and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and by the way, the manifesto itself wasn't asking, "Hey, get out of our country," or like, "Hey, we're supposed to be the ones ruling this country, not
Yeah.
you." It is, we could work together.
Yeah.
We can see eye to eye because Piolo Pascal's character and especially Burgos, they were all just like, "Hey, we're technically Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes, we weren't born in the motherland, but we are technically Spanish. We are quarter, half, whatever.
Yeah.
What makes us different?" And I remember Piolo kind of like explaining it pretty well that like not the same.
Yeah.
We're not the same culture. Well, yes, we adapt a lot, but we're not the same culture.
Yeah. That's why I was
Does
asking
not make yeah,
for equality, like not just for the priest, but for everybody in the Philippines. Because just because we're not born in the motherland of Spain doesn't mean you have to treat us like second-class citizens. For God's sakes,
yeah,
we're all sharing this one space. Why can't we just see eye to eye? And you see the priest just be like, "Nah, we don't want to do that."
nah,
Yeah.
nah.
And like,
And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lean towards the side of like, man,
yeah,
this one. Hmm.
yeah,
The I wasn't really much of like, oh yeah, we could coexist.
yeah, exactly. And then, shockingly, I found out that Piolo Pascual wasn't long for this movie because in real life, Pedro Palacios dies in the earthquake of, forgot what year it was, but he dies in that earthquake. And
Yeah, it was a
Burgo,
pretty big earthquake at around the time too.
yeah. And then Burgos is like, well, shit, there goes our chance. Oh well.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, he studied, he graduated priesthood. I don't know what he studied as a priest, but
You're asking the person who's an atheist, so I wouldn't know either.
I wouldn't know either. I'm just, it's a hypothetical question. Shut up. But anyway, the man graduates. The
Yeah,
man becomes a great teacher, which a lot of people in Catholic like priests and like nuns, they usually become teachers
yeah,
uh, to spread the word of God.
yeah,
Um, and sorry if I sounded a little condescending there, but they use the word of God in a very wrong way.
yeah. And like you see how charismatic Father Burgos is, he obviously inspires his students to go with these ideas. Like there's these ideas sprouting, like that Father Pedro Palacios planted, that we're not
Yeah,
just part of Spain. We're our own country. We're our own nation. We're our own people. We are Los Filipinos. We are the Filipinos. And you see, I like the scene where the elite class of Filipinos, where they're like, what do you think of this? Hey, servant, do you think we are Filipinos? And the guy's just like, yeah, I'm Tagalog. And they're like, well, there's no wrong or right answer. Oh, well, carry on your merry way. And you see, I like how they explore the class where it's like middle class, of course, there's poor class, and then there's the elite where someone like Father Burgos or Father Gomez kind of dabble in, and they're like,
mm,
they also feel like, man, the Spaniards are really treating us like second class citizens. We need to do something about that. Maybe ask for respect, and maybe we shall receive. Especially when they hear news of a more liberal governor general, and they're like, maybe
yeah,
he likes us, maybe he respects us. That's not the case, but we'll get there when we get there. And
yeah.
like, but there is hope of maybe since they're more liberal, maybe we can all be liberal together.
Yeah, and I like how this film, uh, it whoever wrote this or directed it did a very good job of like, yes, hearing an idea can influence you to step forward,
Yeah,
but it's you have a honeymoon phase with it.
yeah,
It's great. Like, yeah, we're spreading the word. We're going against the man. We're speaking Tagalog when they're asking us to speak Spanish, and we're
yeah,
like, yeah, just getting back at it. Shit hits the fan very quickly, where they start taking students out. They start arresting a lot of students, a lot of just like anyone who kind of just spouts the word of like, hey, we are Filipinos.
yeah,
We're not part of whatever you guys have.
yeah, and that
And
plants a seed in your head of like, since you're watching the movie, you're like, if the students aren't safe, then who is?
exactly. And yeah, not gonna lie, I kind of wish, as much as we would like to, hey, yeah, I'm against this. Play the game. Hush.
Yeah, I feel
Keep it on the
bad
download.
for Father Gomez and Father, especially Father Samar, because they're just like
Mm.
telling burgers like, let's calm down, let's not. Well, Father Gomez is. Father Zamar is just like happily playing cards, and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
well.
The man's gambling with another Spaniard,
Yeah,
and I, he kind of course, he did nothing wrong, but he wasn't as inspirational as Father Gomez and Father
Father.
GomBurZa. GomBurZa doing
Father.
Father Burgess.
Forget they
Father-
all combined together.
Yeah.
But like you feel really bad for Zamar about then, because you're like he literally did nothing.
Yeah, and it's such a very human reaction. I was like, if you just weren't at my house, I would not have been arrested.
Right.
So I was like, bro, they still had, like, they would have still gotten you nonetheless.
Right. I think the one scene that really made me like grip my theater seat and like rage was the meeting between Burgos and the Governor General, where the Governor General's like, "You're creating too much noise. You guys should know your place. You are
Yeah,
our
That-
what do you call that? Colonial estate. You are property. You should know your place." And you're just like, can you just shut the fuck up?
yeah, that was the point where, like, even Borges was like, what did you say?
Yeah.
Where he was like, know your place. Everyone was like, when clearly this guy was supposed to be like, hey, I'm here for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm with the people. And, like, it captivated a lot of people, especially Borges.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we have hope. We have somebody who's going to listen. And clearly, he's just the same as everybody else.
Yeah. And then it gets worse with the new Governor General, who's more stricter. And just like, where do we win? When does this movie become, more inspirational? But of course, you know the story of this. You're like, it only gets worse from here. After they start spreading rumors of like, maybe we can make a mutiny, maybe we can try something, and then, of course, it doesn't play out because one of the soldiers rats out the mutiny, and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. I was like, we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, we it didn't end up. It didn't end well. Question though: Who instigated the mutiny? Was it like the rich people?
Yeah, it was the rich people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm just trying to understand it, because like they're the ones who influenced
Yeah.
like the mutiny. They're the ones responsible making, excuse me, and making the priests the scapegoats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
they.
that was
That's why they sent that one guy who kept following them, who ultimately rats out GomBurZa, because he spreads the details to the soldiers, and the soldiers are like, "All right, let's do this."
You mean Borges?
Burgos, isn't it Burgos?
Borges? Burgos?
Yeah,
What's Borges?
I don't know what you.
Borgos? Oh fuck.
How you
Can
been
we
saying?
Can you cut those names? Oh my god, I have been saying Borg the whole fucking time. I don't know. Anyway, wait, no, cause like GomBurZa cast, cause the guy who was who rat them out, not rat them out. He's a famous comedian.
Yeah, he was also in Heneral Luna. He's the guy that the general literally grabs by the dick.
There you go. It's ketchup. Yeah.
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 But yeah, the what's gonna happen, because you're like, obviously this is not the revolution, and it all falls to shit, and you're just like chapter 3 that's called "Is This What Spain Calls Justice?" It's literally where everything falls to shit. Like, I don't like what happens, but I do love this scene where that one captain's like, "Say long live Spain." That guy's just like, "I ain't saying shit." And
Yeah.
he gets capped in the head. You're like, oh well, you did your best.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, oh well, we're fucked. And the 1% are just like, we're getting the fuck out of here. I don't know what you're
Yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah, and they leave like ketchup.
Yeah.
Like a lawyer's like, wait, you guys like pulled me into this. You told me to use this priest as scapegoats.
Yeah.
What the hell? I have a family. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. Yeah, true people at fault here is the rich guys who thought they could start a revolution.
Yeah.
Um,
Without realizing
But-
how much damage they'd be doing to people around them. Like, those are one of the the many antagonists of this movie. One being, of course, the Spanish government, and the second one being the rich being like, we can play around with these ideas, not realizing how dangerous these ideas is because they are protected by their 1% status. They're like, oh well, we can do what we want.
And the actor from Mabini's here too. He's playing one of the rich assholes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was like, oh, it's
yeah.
you. You have a goatee now.
yeah, and not on a wheelchair.
But yeah, it is. I said, Heneral Luna. The ending is frustrating. Like the ending of this movie, I don't think frustrating even begins to describe what feelings
No.
I have. Because you see
And-
them be arrested, and again you see Zamora arrested. You're like, he did nothing. He just wanted to
Yeah,
play poker.
He was just there. He was taking care of an old dude, and
Yeah.
then they were like, he's a priest. Put him in with, and he starts losing his mind. Which I do remember there's people like complaining like, he's an asshole because he's like not with the two guys who
Yeah.
are clearly sick. I would say nah. He has the most human reaction to this is like, fuck, I'm fucked. I'm gonna die because
Yeah.
you were just at my place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and I happened to keep the notes. I was like, all right, prepare the guns and bullets. And they're like, what does this mean? He's like, it just means money. What the fuck do you want from me?
Yeah, yeah. Again, they're just trying to be poetic about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a bit tough because like, we're just seeing this in like, I have a shit ton of people like
Yeah.
getting taken away. Like, I love this whole Avengers style callback to like this one family. And it was like they took the mother away, and they're like they have a older brother or the eldest son like
Yeah.
wants to join the revolution, but clearly the dad doesn't want him to.
Yeah.
By the way, it's this sniper from
Yeah.
Heneral Luna.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the father. And it was like, oh, who's this family?
Yeah,
Yeah.
watching it in the theater, I was like, this boy and his younger brother are somebodies. Just can't picture
Yeah.
who at the
Yeah,
moment.
they put a little too much attention to these two guys, especially in the Netflix
Yeah.
like cover photo. I was like, this guy was barely in the movie. Who the hell is he?
Right? But yeah, you see the trial, and again, you're just like, well, this is upsetting to watch, especially when they bring in Ketchup, and you're like, he's gonna rat this out, right? How could he do this? And you see his face, you're like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. And like, you can't blame him for being like, I can't not rat you out, they're gonna kill me. And like, he rats out Burgos, and Burgos is like, I have never seen this man in my life. Who are you? And the guy's
Yeah.
like, well, sorry, man.
Yeah, and like even like Father Gomez is just like, what the fuck? You don't even have proof. You don't have anything. There's not a right trial.
Yeah.
But they're just taking as much people out of like the picture of like, hey, take the image of revolution out of your head
Yeah.
fast as possible. It doesn't have to be a fair trial. We just gotta get them out.
Yeah. And they are handed their sentences, which is, of course, death. And Burgos and Gomez have this conversation of like, I really think our nation is just unlucky because of all this shit. We're treated like second-class citizens. Every time we try to start something, it gets put down right away. And Gomez says something to the fact of like, it's all within God's timing. It's all within God's path. It didn't really resonate with me, obviously, because I'm like, cool beans.
Yeah, well, no, but like I get what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, like at the time, that is your only hope
Yeah.
when you have no hope.
Yeah.
And like, and yeah. Oh wait, who's the one who said like ang malas tayo? Malas natin.
Burgos.
Burgos. Yeah. I really feel like this is the director,
Yeah.
or the like, just kind of throwing a little bit of jabs to today's situation.
Yeah, it's like, you know, in that one moment in the Joker where he's ranting about modern society, you're just like, I kind of feel like this is not Joker's words. I think this is the director's words.
Yeah, like somebody is trying to be heard here.
Yeah.
And you could clearly tell that it is the director.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's not wrong. Every time we have something good in the horizon, there is always something that kind of just doesn't want it because they will lose power or they will not gain the goal that they want.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes a very selfish goal.
Yeah. Out of the other side of that coin, like the only way to combat it is the light, where it might be through fate or whatever other means you find hope through, and like that's what keeps people going, and I understand that. But like you feel so like you feel the same way the priest feel at this moment. You're just like, this is the darkest moment in this movie. Jesus Christ, especially when you see Father Zamar just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna die. Oh well,
Yeah.
shit, I didn't even plan the rest of the entire year out. Fuck, or the rest of my life out. Shit, and
Yeah,
like,
these were very young priests too.
yeah,
They're in their 20s, or like yeah, they're like mid 20s
yeah,
when they graduated.
yeah, with the exception of Father Gomez, they're like pretty young still. And like
Yeah,
you see them dragged out to the execution spot, and you see Zamar just like, well, there is no point and
just
everything.
like just straight up limp. By the way, yeah, like we get a scene where at least the new, what was he, like a general or like a president? I forgot what he was.
Governor General.
The governor general. There we go. Kind of just like their priests, they will die like.
Yeah,
At least they gave him that dignity. Um, and like yeah, as they're going to, I really thought they were gonna get shot. Uh, but it's like in the most graphic kind of execution.
yeah,
Even the executioner is just like,
right.
well, like, I like, I sorry if I made it into a joke, but like, it is tough because he knows that like, hey, what I'm doing is wrong, but it's the job, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it kind of mirrors, Jose Rizal's execution, where it was Filipinos, and you see behind the Filipinos as the Spaniards being like, "You better fire."
You better shoot at him
Yeah,
because we'll shoot at you.
yeah,
And yeah, that's always the case. You can't be mad at like us going against it because sometimes there's always a gun at the back of these people's heads
yeah,
that they can't.
yeah.
And I'm like, it sucks.
Right.
And
It is quite
I-
disturbing seeing like, cause the Garrett separates your spine so their hands involuntarily shake. You're just like, oh Jesus Christ, sweet
Yeah.
Jesus. Like I give props to this film for not cutting away at any point, because it's like, no, this is how it happened. You have to. This is how it is. This is what
And-
the price they paid for us now.
yeah, and the older brother who brings his little brother to the execute. Like, my God, I didn't know that was a thing, but it is.
Yeah,
So yeah, like the Garrett, like again, as you said, kills them in a very graphic way,
yeah,
and even like Father Gomez has like a very nice speech
yeah,
before, like his last words.
yeah.
Will not say it because I can't say it in verbatim. Anyway, and once we get to Father
Burgos.
Burgos, it just sucks
Yeah,
because it's even like straight up, we did nothing wrong.
yeah. And then the priest is like, look, man, even Christ was innocent. And you're like, I don't know
I
how
was
that's.
like, you should. You son of a.
Yeah. I was like, is that supposed to help him?
Yeah, and it shows that even the priests here don't believe what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're clearly not even practicing the shit that they try to teach us. And I was like,
I going back to this movie, like I do like the pacing where it really is kind of slow in the beginning, because you're like, oh, it's a church problem, and then becomes kind of like a student problem, and then becomes an us problem, and like by the end you're just like gripping your seat of like, please, can this have an alternate ending or something like that?
but it shows us that like what words and philosophies can do and drive a nation.
Yeah,
It started small with just one priest passing it on to his to
student.
his predecessor.
Yeah,
And that predecessor like showing it to his students, and these students of course bring it out to the world where these rich fuckers kind of didn't know what to do with it, but anyway, it still started something.
yeah,
And I love that little message that this movie is giving. It's like sometimes a little message can go a very long way
yeah,
and can be monumental to a change of a country. And yeah, we and that still goes on with as soon as Father Burgos dies, you see itty bitty Jose Rizal just watching it go on, and that's when he gets the inspiration to write the El Fili. And I'm like,
Yeah,
damn,
and it sets off
I
a chain reaction to like the
yeah
KKK, Andres Bonifacio, and like
yeah
Burgos saying like Los Filipino is not just a word anymore; it's a nation
mm,
under God, and he just says "Mabuhay ang mga Filipina." And like I, at that point of the theater, there was no dry eye inside because we're just like, ah, God
yeah.
damn, hits hard.
It does. It really does. That's again, these were just innocent men
Yeah,
who clearly wasn't had nothing to do with the situation,
yeah,
but now they're martyrs, and I'm like, they didn't ask for it.
yeah.
Some were like, some martyrs are prepared to die and be like, okay, if I die, it'll change the nation. These people didn't know that they were gonna be martyrs.
All right. It's not like Jose Rizal where he's like, I have an idea what my books would do. I have an idea of the consequences, and I'm prepared to do it. The priests are just like spreading the words, and they were just victims of the rich and the the colonizers being like, how dare you say these things, and the rich being like, we did nothing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I am so happy we're not in a world where speaking Tagalog would be like a like heretic,
Yeah,
or will be frowned upon, or we have this fat dude telling us what to do, and I'm just like, mm-mm,
yeah,
I'm good. I do miss the times where when I would hear like our grandfathers would be like, oh, we could speak 3 languages as standard. I'm like,
that's
damn.
impressive.
Yeah, well, sadly we went down to 2, but
Yeah,
it's fine. We're still bilingual. It's still great.
right. Oh well, but yeah, this is a
But
very
yeah, like sorry, but like it that around that time kind of fascinated me because we were very educated.
yeah,
Like I would say even smarter than what we are today, and like how much they would strive to learn.
yeah.
It was crazy, and yeah, it led up to great revolutions and us somewhat winning our country back.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, as we look back on our history, we get to relearn these lessons, even though it kind of sucks that we have to, again, relearn them. Hopefully, we do relearn them and go forward with better intentions and better stuff happening. Because we're almost 300 years free, and I do believe, obviously, that we have every right to remain free for the next 1,000 years. So that's it.
Mm.
Uh, I, unless global warming takes us all out, which is all of our own faults. We're not
Yeah, I
helping.
was like, I feel like we did this ourselves. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's a humanity problem, not a Filipino problem in general.
yeah,
Uh,
it's not racism or anything, but it's just like y'all had enough.
yeah, it's nature taking it back. But anyway, this movie is very impactful and very important, and I'm very happy that it exists. And like, I'm very impressed with Pepe Jokno's movie. Like, I think this is like his first feature-length film, and I hope he does more.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
The it is clearly speaking from the heart, especially considering his position in this kind of well, how would you say
it was,
environment?
yeah, for sure. In this political
Sure.
environment, like, I'm glad he
Yeah,
makes such a bold movie.
yeah. I like, and I'm just happy that like he is able to, you know, voice out his concerns and voice out kind of his deep feelings when it comes to this country. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
you know what? Keep at it. Please make more. Please don't be afraid.
yeah,
Like, but also please stay safe.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like knowing his family's history, like which has been really politically active since like the beginning, almost the beginning of this nation's history, especially
mm,
during the 70s and to the 80s and to now. So yeah, it's very inspiring that people still make movies like this, especially in this country. But yeah,
yeah.
that being said, what would you rate GomBurZa?
Ray Gumbor is a solid 9 out of 10. I would love to have given it a 10, but I would say sure the pacing was slow at the start, I feel like this movie would have blended well with 2 hours, maybe three. Was this 2 hours and 20 to 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Like I just needed more information. I would love to have been a little bit more sucked into the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I am. I'm in it, but like, like I would have loved to have been in their shoes a little bit more. I would have loved to have seen Piolo Pascual's character a little bit more. And yeah, because all the actors here did an amazing job portraying who they need to portray, and I would have loved to have seen more involvement. Like, how did the revolution start, or like, how did these rich bastards just like
Get away with it. You're like, how are you
get
not?
away
Are
with
you
it,
scot
or
free?
like just a bit more information. But clearly, yes, they did what they could with the amount of time that they had, because it's just like an hour and 40, hour
Yeah.
and 30,
Like,
yeah, around that time. And yeah, I would have loved to have learned more, because I love movies like these where we get a history lesson instead of reading it from a book. Clearly, some of us can't do that.
it's fine.
Sometimes a movie or a TV series or a documentary would lend a hand when it comes to informing other people about it. And I'm so glad that like I learned about it this way.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you did read it. We did know about it in like Alaring Panipunan, but like we didn't get the whole picture.
Yeah.
That is a lot of our history, is that we don't get the full picture, and here we get it, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I will also give this a 9 out of 10. Like, I agree that this movie needed a bit more runtime, especially when it comes to be like, what happens to the rich bastards? Yeah, they said they're sent to Hong Kong, but like, is that just it? It's just, is history just that unfair that they get away scot free?
Sometimes, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hate to break it to myself that it's usually the case, but yeah, it's the acting, the story, the set design is pretty amazing. The cinematography is pretty amazing. To like where the church is at, to like outside when they're saying hi to the governor, or like in their execution. Even the cinematography looks amazing. There, you're like, wow, this is so grim, but the goddamn does it look fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if y'all are wondering with what Burgos was trying to say, where like we're half Spanish, that is true. Enzo here is partially Spanish. I'm partially Chinese and Spanish and Filipino. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of blood within us that we're kind of like not even close to the original.
Alright, unfortunate as it is. Also,
Yeah.
the one inaccuracy here is that I believe Bonifacio was also at the execution set. I don't know why he wasn't here.
Yeah. Or is Bonifacio the curly-haired servant guy? Is that what they're trying to say? Because I don't think Bonifacio was ever a servant.
I don't think so too. Again,
Yeah, because he was the guy who was like, what? Seeing it, he's like, oh god, I was with those rich bastards when they were making the plans.
yeah,
And then he has the book of El File, and he's like talking to other people.
yeah.
And I was like, is that Bonifacio? I'm not sure. Is he the guy? Oh.
Like as you said,
Director, if you see this video, please let us know.
like as you said, our history books never really complete the picture, especially our history books, because we come from an American-headed high school, or elementary school. So our history books basically gave us
Yeah,
shit.
we know more about the Civil War than our own Civil War, than our own Revolutionary War,
right?
And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want to know what the fuck happened in Hamburger Hill, because I'm not fucking there.
Right? Like, well, I have no stakes in this. Why are you telling me this? Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, a very impactful movie, very important movie, and I'm glad our own local cinema or movie industry is continuing this trend of really good historical epics, because I think we pretty much need them at this point. But yeah, before we wrap this up, same question as the last video. Any other historical figures you would like to see have this?
Ooh, okay. Here's a very out there one, but like, you remember that lady in World War II,
Yes.
the teacher
Yeah.
that has like a huge kill count?
Yes. Yes.
I want one of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want a movie of that. That shit's badass.
Yeah. I forgot her name, but she's from Leyte, I believe.
Yeah, and like she hunted like Japanese down with like a hunting rifle that holds one bullet.
Yeah,
Out and she has like a machete. I was like, and she started training like some of the soldiers on how to do it. I was like, what?
all right. I would like to see a movie about the Filipino resistance in World War II, because all of the movies are centered around the death march. And I'm like, can we talk about something else about us fighting
Yeah,
back? That'd be inspiring.
yeah.
That'd be nice.
Because we both have grandfathers who were in the war.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
who saw what happened
yeah,
during?
and was there. Mine lost an arm.
Yeah, mine got hit by a rifle. That's not the best situation, but he survived, obviously. Uh, but yeah, we're our both of grandfathers are survivors, and our the past generation as well. But yeah, anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Nah, nah. I do like this type of movie reviews that we're kind of just looking back into history and learning a little bit more. So hopefully we could do this a little bit more often rather than just doing it on like, you know, our Independence Day or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if anybody in the comments has like any recommendation that you think that would greatly, you know, inform us
yeah,
about our history and or our environment or like in our country, political environment within our country, please recommend it to us in comments below. And like, yeah, we would gladly watch it and do a review.
yeah. Maybe you can do Malyari. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, in the horror movie. I heard it was great until they introduced like a ghost, and that's where I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that's the most divisive part. But anyway, yeah. If there are other movies you guys want us to do, whether it be like I don't know other MMF movies or maybe The Kingmaker one of these days. That's a bit too risky though. But who knows?
Uh, let's
We need to talk more about it.
we'll
Yeah,
we'll talk
yeah.
about it.
Anyway, but yeah, if you like our videos, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see our best and funniest videos and our reaction to the latest of trailers, and Spotify to hear us on the go. And the VM ends Wolf on Letterboxd, and Zoda's Voices on TikTok. Where can they find you?
Or you can find me at JumJM _ on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next one, we'll see you there. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.